I did go ahead and change the schedule to 10 a.m. Anywhere from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. to 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Really not certain right now, just going by the feel. Um, with that being said, I would like to welcome you back to the channel, and in this stream, we will be continuing our expert playthrough of Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. So, with that, let's go ahead and get started. Now, you can go ahead and check my schedule for future live streams. You will see that I have scheduled it out to the end of this month, starting at 10 a.m. each Friday. So it's, like I said, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the most. It'll be between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Really not certain how I'm going to set that schedule yet, but just working that out since I got kicked out of my previous living situation, as I could not find a job fast enough. So, story as old as time. In either case, let's go ahead and get started with that first order. Alright, what do we have here? Since we don't have any instruments to test anything out, I'm hesitant to work on the engine of the vehicle, especially something as big as the Hammer Dome. So let's just go ahead and take in the next slowest time frame, which will be the Hinata Moon. Hinata Moon. God, I got a headache on the side of my head. I hope it's only a sinus headache, but the spikes of pain are like levels 7 to 8. Enough to make one dizzy, you could say. Alright, so the next one we got is this one. Weird that A is open. Oh, yes, yes, we only have one stall because we're on expert playthrough. Oh, a lot has been going on, I will tell you that. So, we got poor brake performance and other tasks. So, let's just go ahead and start with that. Poor brake performance, we can see we have the brake module, I believe that is, that needs to be replaced. To get started. Let's see what the lowest is. 68, so definitely the brake module needs replaced. Probably a few brake pads here and there. I can say we got the caliper there right off the bat. So let's go to electric pump. It was a pump, not a module. Got that caliper, the brake pad needs replaced on that. I'm just going to go through each one just so we have an idea of how many I'm going to need. I'm going to need a rotor, non-insulated. Got one caliper, one brake pad, and one rotor. That's good. And we'll need to replace the caliper on this. So 2 calipers, 2 brake pads, and 1 rotor. That's where we are at. I think we might have some brake pads in there in our inventory, but I'm not certain. Just as I'm not certain if that rotor is reaching 60%. 69, so that should be good. I'll just put that back on, along with the brake pad. And we have 2 new calipers. Plenty of cylinders, so good there. All the same tires, thankfully. Now we'll go ahead and add one of those to the list. Now we need to refill the fluids, it seems. To do that, we would want to drain them first. So that would be the coolant fluid. We drain the steering fluid, followed by the windshield wiping fluid, and the brake fluid. Just to refill each one. Alright, so that completes that job. And we have poor brake performance at 1,250 credits, other task at 100 credits, task bonus at 129 credits, job bonus at 543 credits, for a total payout of 2,022 credits. Alright, so that brings us to the Hinata Moon, I believe is the name of this one. And have brake system needs fixing and other tasks be in the fluid. So the exact same job, except we will not need to replace a pump. What's the minimum? 53. Probably reaches the minimum on this, but let's see. Have to drain that anyway. Oh, inventory, yeah, that reaches the minimum. Put that back in there. And we might as well start draining everything else while we're up here. From the coolant fluid to the windshield wiper fluid to the steering fluid. There we go. Let's go ahead and bring it up on a lift and we'll get those brake parts removed. From the rotors to the calipers to the pads. So what do we have here? Looks like the caliper may need replacing. Kind of hard to tell. 69. We're looking for 53. That should be fine. I think that rotor's going to reach 53 at least as well. So I'm not going to worry about taking apart that stuff. We're just going to call that one good for now. That seems like it's going faster than it should be. Caliber. Here, right there. Doubt if that needs replacing, but let's check. No, it does not. Caliber does though. And we'll have to add one there. Pretty much everything is going to need replaced on this one. From the calipers to the pads to the rotor. Or brake disc, because it's referred to in Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. Disc. So we have 2 discs, 2 pads, and 1 caliber, I believe. 2 discs. Pads we already have. Caliber. Alright, so we'll delete that and just go to brake parts. 4 of them. Kind of future-proof that. And caliber. Looks like that one's at 65, which should be good enough. So, I was right. This one will need replaced. I was right. Alright, so now we just have the fluid. And we should be good to go ahead and give this back to the customer, user, whatever you want to call them. Oh, there we go. One a little over. Hope everyone's doing alright today. Whenever you're watching this. Hope you're learning something. Maybe finding it entertaining a little bit. Just a little bit, you know. Somewhat. A little bit. Maybe my stories might be entertaining. I know my life is pretty wild these days, unfortunately. Since I haven't been able to get a job and my mom's passing didn't help it. Haven't had anyone to talk to. Well, anyone that I want to talk to. Of course, no, there was a time when there were people I wanted to talk to. But I really, yeah. I can't complain about that time. Just feel bad for how all that turned out. Really blame myself, actually. Am I terrible? That's how would you put it, Empathy? Just kind of burned out of me. Back in the 90s, it was considered cool. So, brake system, well, we have completed the job, clearly. That got very sad for a second, I apologize. So, we completed the job. The brake system fixing is only 374 credits. Other task at 60 credits. Tax bonus at 84 credits. Job bonus at 184 credits. And total payout of 702 credits. So we'll go ahead and finish that up. Now that would have been more, but took too long. We had two jobs and we were only able to put one vehicle on the lift. So did make it take quite a bit longer. Therefore, I like to stick with one. Might as well go with the storyline here. So it says, "Good morning. Would you be able to help me? It's my first car. My first car was a Plymouth Acclaim, by the way. Ran good for a while until the reverse went out. Yeah, the reverse went out on the transmission. And that was before I knew anything about cars. So more than likely that was on me. But yeah, the reverse went out, so that wasn't fun. And then I got in an accident. The door got dented in. Still driving it for a little bit after that. I think the e-brake eventually gave out too. That wasn't fun. Second car was a much better story, minus the ending. But, so he said, can you help me out on his first car, which is a Bolt Hornet, a 96 Bolt Hornet. Which, that brings to mind between the year 1990 and 1996, I believe it was, were the golden years for motor vehicles because they were made to last. So, if you're looking for something that'll last a long haul, those were the years. The cars back then, they're talking between like a 500,000 miles and 1,000,000 miles for a threshold. Particularly the Lexus LS was like a 500,000. And then they had an SUV model that I cannot recall that could go up to 1,000,000. They had a Mercedes with a diesel engine made in 1983 that goes over 1,000,000 because it's a diesel engine, obviously. So that's a pretty cool tidbit about the 90s and 80s. But let's get back to it. It might not be the perfect car, but it's mine. I've always dreamed about one like this, so I finally managed to save some cash and started looking immediately. It seems that I might have gotten a bit carried away. I heard that this doesn't bode well. The salesman said that the brakes need to be repaired, but the rest is in perfect condition. This morning I heard a banging in the back and it pulls to the right. I hope it's nothing serious. I'll borrow some cash if necessary, but I hope it's just the brakes. I can't wait to hit the road again. Please do a checkup and replace what you need. See ya! Alright, so with that, we have fixed the body parts, changed the oil, and other tasks. Alright, so let's go ahead and bring that to the left. So we have to replace all the brake pads, as well as all my relationships I ever made. And refill windshield wiper fluid. And a bunch of other stuff we don't know. So they heard a banging coming from the engine. It's probably missing, more than likely. I'm guessing that's probably a, what do you call it, a piston. Definitely a ring or two need replacing. So let's just get started by replacing the brake pads. What do we got? 77%. Might be better or worse, I think. Trying to figure if this is 77, I really doubt it. Just by looking at it. Just gonna take it off and see as we do. Not 77, but I don't think it's bad enough to count. Yeah, not bad enough to count. 73 apparently, which I find surprising. It's an automatic transmission, so you could already tell it's a waste of time. But hey, why not? And if you ask me, those paddle shifters don't count. I mean, they put a double clutch in it, call it a double clutch, and then put paddle shifters and act like it's a manual. No. Like, I'm going with the option no. It'll never be a manual. I mean, it shifts faster than any manual. Of course it does, because it's an automatic. You know? It's kind of simple to understand to me, but I don't know. One of those loops need replacing. I also wanted to take this off so we can get to this part. Yeah. Triangle on this one, I believe. Screw orientation. Okay, was that wrong? You know, pretty certain I'm right. Those look like the bolts that go in it. Yep, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and 4. Don't know why that took so long, but yeah, that does need replacing, so we'll get that added. Let's go ahead and remove that bottom one there. Spring cap. Get that added. We're also going to need a U-bolt and another spring cap. Like that one right there. Just guessing, but seems logical, and it was. So, go ahead and get that replaced. And definitely the brake pad needs replacing on this. While we're at it, we could check out those wheel bearings. Will be the real name for it. Those bolts always seem difficult for me to locate today, I guess. And the brake pad needs replacing on this one as well. You guys are my priority. There's a lot of things I should be doing today, but I do need to do these live streams. You know, you guys seem to enjoy them. I think I get the most views from the live streams as opposed to any of my normal videos you'll find on my channel. Which I think, honestly, I don't know what is more entertaining. I guess maybe the live streams would be due to the non-scripted content. I mean, my normal videos aren't too scripted, but anyone's video you ever watch has to be scripted to some extent, if it's any good. That's how TV works, that's how movies work, that's how it works. And that's how I prefer to run my life. Others may not, but if you take statistics into account on a general basis, and I know this will be controversial these days, but if you do take statistics into account, which are a mathematical formula, then anybody would be lapsed not to form their life under a scripted orientation, purely because those who do make plans for their future are generally more successful than those who do not, on a general basis. Me these days, like I said, I just been too angry to see through it half the time because I haven't been able to sleep a full night and I can't tell you how long. Brake calipers. But, you know, like Tech9 says, if you don't see your way through, you're going to leave the others blue. It may be better for you, but, you know, easier for you, you know. It's a very sad song, and I don't want to bring up the rest of that verse. Now, take logic from gangster rap, you know. Well, in this case, it wasn't gangster rap, but it was rap. I mean, back in the day, how many rappers referred to Tupac when they were in their interviews? I mean, he was a poet in his time. That was a little off the beaten path, you could say. But he did originally go to a high-level art school. So, yeah, not many people realize that. And what was it? A rapper. He's very violent in his music, but not so much in his real life. Eazy-E. Yeah, he was one of the most educated rappers next to Dre. And Ice Cube graduated pretty high in his class as well. So, well, we pay attention to other mainstream actors, that get the limelight, like pop stars and stuff like that. You never really think of their educational background, I guess. When you look into it, they're generally pretty apt. I mean, even some comedians are like really apt. Like someone I was speaking to the other night actually, he does a lot of shows on Kill Tony. Just the other night, he was performing something in LA, but what was his name? David Lucas. Yeah, he's actually performed really high in his class and was eligible for a high-level college, but decided not to and chose to chase his dreams for stardom and comedy of all things. It's kind of funny, to be honest. Somebody that intelligent choosing comedy, but he did get caught up in kind of the wrong things, so it makes sense. I prefer his stuff on Def Comedy Jam, like in the classroom scenes they had. I forgot what the name of that series was, but it was hilarious. He used to come up with the best jokes. Me, I just stopped paying attention in class and lost all interest, to be honest. I wasn't very good at it when I was paying attention either, because I never wanted to study. And I need to study. I don't, never was one to pick up things as quick as others. I always envied those who could. But I've always been inclined to pick up things technologically a lot faster than most. Well, maybe not than most if they actually try. My own father picked up certain things technologically far faster than I ever did. And he is no good with technology. primarily because he's never tried, clearly. Sure, if he grew up in the time of technology, he'd probably be better than me. Chose to be an eye doctor, which didn't work out. Probably for the same reasons my college career didn't work out too well. I would compare myself more to a Joe Rogan than an Elon Musk myself. But some would say otherwise. I mean, I'm not dumb because of the massive information I accumulated over time. As I like to say, I have a slow CPU. A very slow CPU. I think that rod is gonna need replaced. Just looking at it, something rusted out, and it's not the wheel hub bearing, so. Oh, there we are. There we are. Triangle. Much like esoteric symbology. Forgot the symbols, but it looks very similar to it. Others will look at it and relate it to the occult, but in fact the occult took a lot of symbolism from esoteric symbology, which originally wasn't in relation to anything good or evil. It was seen as it is, which is to say natural geography within nature created for, I could say, but I'm not going to elaborate on it. Because nobody's ready for it yet. So. And quite frankly, there's monetary interest in the subject. So, you know, why share it with everybody? When there's money involved, those that matter are the only ones you should be concerned with. And those who disagree with that ideology really should read a book. I just think it would be helpful, you know. I'm not saying you're wrong. It might be helpful. You might read a book about it and you might learn something you didn't know, or get a different idea, like why the fish symbol is related to Christianity, or why we see that aura over different historical, spiritual representation. I mean, like Jesus, the Mother Mary, all of his disciples. If you go into the Catholic Church, you'll see the aurora. Might want to look into that, you know, and why that's there. Once you learn a few of these things, you'll start catching on. Because a lot of this stuff is included in the Bible. And was even spoken about too, but nobody really talks about it. I personally have read the Bible one time all the way through, and one time like part of the way through. I believe it's the Old Testament. Well, no, I read the Old and the New Testament actually. So, yeah. Good read, not so much. Some of it was. You know, that's the modern version, which has cut out a great deal of chapters within the Bible. Not many people realize that approximately 21 to 22, maybe like 25 chapters over thousands of years have been removed, primarily for different governmental structures, like such as Rome, to further control their people. So the Bible nowadays is not the original scripture. And therefore, I believe that could lead to many misinterpretations as to the meaning of certain chapters, such as the way we look to Christ for our redemption instead of practicing Gnosticism, which was the original Christianity, to better oneself, not to rely on one entity or one deity or one idol, as it states in the Bible. Thou shalt not place idols above Christ, right? And I forgot to leaf spring U-bolts. I didn't actually forget them as much as I forgot to put them on. Or, no, I may have forgot them. Yeah, forgot them. People gotta read their Bible. I don't know anything. Both Western and Eastern philosophies have an input in very great spiritual knowledge, such as if you look at Buddhism. Um, there are a lot of good things that could be taken from Buddhism, I think, as to a set of rules in particular. I think their idea of having a set of rules put in place, not necessarily referring to them as laws, just as guidance, is a good step from a spiritual perspective overall. Or, yoga, that originated from an Eastern perspective. Can't say exactly where because I can't remember at this time. But that's a spiritual practice. Certain types of martial arts are said to be. I believe they're great. I mean, for spirituality, it helps you learn energy, really, and how to move your body in regards to certain moves in martial arts, even. And the spiritual aspects and components behind it are fascinating. Because it all laces together. Everything in nature laces together. From energy to inertia, which is energy in essence, to the way and patterns our planets move. If you look over it in the time of the precession of the equinox, you'll notice the lines forming create the flower of life, which is one of those esoteric symbols that kind of works its way in, kind of helps people to wake up. The real woke, not this fake new bullshit woke that came out of left field. I think it's a misconception purposely created for the, random people that never look into anything. Just lead them astray. Like, they'll never find, they'll get involved with the emotions of this flawed woke movement and, forget about what really matters. That's what counts, right? Historically, all governance seeks power, whether that be through confusion or otherwise. You should not trust thy government. And that doesn't make you not patriotic. In fact, I believe it makes you more patriotic not to trust entity offhand, but to, just pay attention, essentially. That's it. Just pay attention. Anybody that's been paying attention for even 100 years will know that. I recommend reading history, as the human race has a knack for not being able to learn over time. Like, throughout thousands of years, we generally forget things. Because we are human, and humans are flawed creatures. I could name just a few aspects off the top of my head. But some call me crazy, even though I'm perfectly stable. A little childish at times. I do have a capability of expressing great emotion, which in my opinion is primarily a weakness, though it could be used as strength. Oof. I don't know which one of these needs to replace, so I'm just going to replace them all. Pretty certain I have some spare spark plugs in there. One of them is coming up as not good. Like I said, though I may not agree with the institution of the religious practice for some reasons I even mentioned earlier, it is something you do have to respect, as any institution that could last that long deserves respect. And the control mechanism alone, I mean, remarkable. I don't think there's any better controlling mechanism in the history of the human race than religion. It's perfect if you think about it. People want to feel like they're a part of something, like there's a higher power. And that goes into our biology. I mean, we're designed to want to believe in something higher than us. If you speak to any psychologist, they'll tell you people who believe in a higher being are generally better off than people who do not. Well, honestly, it's perfect. And I think if you could believe in it, definitely go right ahead and do so. If you can. Good luck. You have my blessing. I know how hard that could be. Oh, let's try an ohm meter. I don't think I even have one yet. See if I can get one. We have cost 1 point, avail points 0. That's wonderful. We have 0 points. We have 698 XP. Oh, let me see here. Let's go ahead. We haven't filled the oil yet, so let's check those pistons. Oh, it's gonna let us. Cool. Guess we're just gonna slide it under the front sway bar. In a way. Actually, those pistons look like they are in very good condition. If anything was questionable, it'd be the crankshaft, and even that looks like it's pretty decent. The shaft, that is crank. Let's go ahead and take this off, as I do believe. If we look at this, we will need to get that replaced. And I'm just gonna step away for a moment. And I'll be right back with you guys shortly. Oh, look at that camshaft. Looks like that belt's gonna need replaced as well. That one will probably need it too. Well, we're getting to the root of the problem. Missing coils, spark plugs. Did go ahead and take those caps off in anticipation of removing the camshafts. Oops. Oopsie. That's kind of hard to believe. There we go. And there we go. believe that should fill up the list with everything. No, it is not. Well, everything engine-wise, I guess. We'll go back here. See if I can't find anything else. One cam and 2 timing belts. Or likely need those timing gears as well. At least one. 75, so I don't think that's it. I don't think I should have put those on quite yet, now that I think about it. Let me check something real quick. Yeah, definitely shouldn't have put those on yet. I'm gonna have to remove the headers as well just to get to that. I don't even know if it's below 77, but it is the most logical part that would need to be replaced. Yeah, so those even seem fine. Matter of fact, we might actually have to take off the gearbox, so let's just keep that other tire on and check into something real quick. About to get our next level here soon. And level 9. Oh, now that's alright as well. Well, we were alright to put those back on. I think I'm getting confused with the other vehicles, so I'm just gonna possibly take another look here at the pistons and all that. let's see what else we might be able to unlock here. Cost 1, we have available points at 3. Things that make you go, Expand back in garage. Shop level 1. Dino. Salvaging. Lifter. Car wash and test pad. Welder. Window tint kit. Compressor test. Tread gauge on board. Pressure gauge. Tablet. I think I'm gonna go with an electric meter. Definitely. OBD scanner isn't as important as the compressor and or charger, so we might as well get the charger as well there. And the compressor. And mobile tablet is a must. So let's go ahead and increase. Well, actually we can't do that yet. So. Increase mounting speed isn't terrible. Alright, so we got the battery charger. And another very important part being the electric meter. So we got that one. Didn't realize that was brought with credits and not so much experience points. It's been a while. All is right there. I don't think we can do that yet. No, we can't do that with no fluid in it. No fluid is a no-go. Let's drain this real quick. And we'll refill it. We can top this off real quick. And let's just go ahead and check on those pistons. Yep, still good. So, with that, let's get that little magnifying glass out. See if we can do that. We cannot. Guessing that bushing, that is definitely going to need to be replaced. And that one as well. That one actually looks pretty good. That one will though. And we'll go ahead and put those here. Going for 2 more parts. So I like to look in the back here, because a lot of times, as we can see, these bushings go bad. Oh, that's one more. I'm thinking, if anything, has to be that lower suspension arm bushing. We'll go ahead and move this tire again. And we're going to need to get a new rubber bushing. Just replace both of them there. And we're good to set that tire. As well as the other one. Go ahead and lower the vehicle from the lift. And start filling those fluids. Got the coolant fluid here. We'll fill that up. We're going to move on over to the oil. And then we can fill up that brake fluid. Now we gotta replace that front bumper, because we have yet to get the ability to repair it. But for that, we'll just go back to the main menu here and then go into body shop. And we can go with the Hornet on the front bumper. Oh, we got the rear bumper. Oh, there we go. Front bumper. Pretty cheap. Not bad. Alright, and that should finish up this job. So, story order, story order 1,789 credits. Fixed body parts at 350 credits. Change oil at 25 credits. Other tax at 15 credits. Task bonus of 435 credits. Total job bonus of 1,501 credits. Total payout of 4,115 credits. So that'll help out. Got a little bit more to go before we hit the 1,000 credit mark, which is really what we want to see. But let's see what other orders we have here. Ooh, thinking we could go with the F350, so it looks fairly simplistic as far as what's wrong with it. With our limited tools, the car is loud, that's going to be the exhaust, no doubt. Manifold being part of it. Driving, struggling to find gears, we could look into that. Find and fix all running gear problems, we will have to open the gearbox. Well, let's start by removing this manifold. Go ahead and get that added to the list. Check the other side. It seems to be okay at 63. I would say it's alright. Oh, we'll get this lifted up. And remove that. And add that. Alright, so that gearbox will need replaced. The clutch bearing, need to replace that as well. And the pressure plate is also going to need to be replaced. We got that pressure plate, clutch bearing, 4 of those. Transmission, that'll be expensive. 1,500. Not too bad. Let's lower this down. We'll get that exhaust manifold put in. Unless we already have, which we have not. So that'll complete this order. So we have the car is loud at 570 credits. Driver struggling to find gears at 88 credits. Find and fix all gear problems at 1,535 credits. Task bonus of 304 credits. Job bonus of 1,546 credits for a total payout of 4,043 credits. So finish that. I put just over 10,000, but we will need some money or credits in order to buy parts for these repairs. So let's check out the suspension issue with the Nissan GT-R real quick. And we'll go ahead and bring that in to lift one here. Yeah, suspension feels loose. So lift this up. Well, to start with, we got that outer tie rod on the front passenger side here. That's definitely going to need to be replaced. Minimum of 67. That should be good. I'm worried about that front cross member. Thinking that might need to be replaced as well. But before we do that, let's check back here. That drive axle might need to be replaced. More, yeah, there it is. It's just this end lock here, or end link, I should say. We can take this tire off in order to get to that end link, and that should allow us access. Put that new one on, and that should solve that. Perfect. So let's just go ahead and put this tire on. Go ahead and check on the stats for this job. So for this GT-R R35, have completed a job for the suspension feels loose at 47 credits, task bonus of 4 credits, job bonus of 27 credits, and total payout of 78 credits. Front wheel sizes do not match. Oh, not surprising. On these GT-Rs, they have the wider tires in the back, I forgot. Put it in there. As you can see, 255 and 285. You could kind of see the difference there. Rear tires, and then that front tire. There we go. Took a little more time than it needed to, but that's not too bad. And there we go. We can just finish on that. Get on to the next one. Well, this minivan's gonna need some work. We'll go ahead and take that in. Seems like a big job, but we do have the compression tool now, so shouldn't be too bad. Whew. Not looking good though. Car is hard to control. Knocking sound coming from suspension. Fix any running gear issues. Loud when accelerating. That's exhaust. Transmission not responsive. Looks like we're at 41% is the goal. Loud when accelerating and transmission sound like the best place to start. That. We'll go ahead and remove that. Add that to the list. I'll remove this as well. And this. And this. Add that. And that. As well as that. Got that. That's still not going to fix the entire loud exhaust issue, as this still needs to be removed. Oh, good, we can do that from the bottom. That'll fix it though. Unless, is that 43? That should be fine. Check it out. Yeah, that fixes it. Now transmission, I can already say that gearbox looks like it has seen better days. Oh, look at that. We got a new level, and I think we got one at 48. I think that's the one it came with. Yeah. Oh, it should be okay, I guess. Get that one back on there. And get a new gearbox. Don't know why I'm leaving that to do it. back on there. And get this back on there. Okay, so there's a knocking noise coming from the suspension. Tell you that definitely needs replaced. This is also going to need replaced. I don't like the shape of this. Oh yeah, that's gonna need replaced. That's gonna need replaced. And that drive shaft will need to be replaced. Along with the front sway bar. Well, front sway bar is alright. Yeah, that does need to be replaced after all. So, let's go over here and get that steering rack is what it was. 43 being the minimum. That's good, and that should be good. Well, knocking come from suspension and find replace running gear issues. Running gear issues is probably going to be that water pump and or the crankshaft pulley. Probably the crankshaft pulley there. Knocking coming from suspension, however. I want to say it's the leaf spring, but if I'm being honest, those U-bolts look terrible. And oddly enough, it's neither one of those, but the control issue is one of them. Oh, that's at 48, that's good. We'll need to replace that one now. Alright, so sway bar front end link B for that knocking sound and running gear issue. Let's check this one out. is remold. Needs replaced. That was part of the knocking sound. That was right. And let's get that front sway bar end link replaced in there. Once we put this back on, obviously. For those of you who have watched my channel in the past. End link. Knocking on gear issues. That we shouldn't require the tire over. Unless, of course, it is that bar I'm looking at, which looks really rough. Suspension should cross over. That bushing looked terrible condition, but apparently it's alright. So I'll put one a better value in anyway. And replace that with one a better value anyway as well. Find and fix running gear problems. Weird design. Making it so we have to remove the alternator before we can get the water pump out. And an idle roller, apparently. Well, with 41 being the minimum, those look good. The fact that it's saying running gear parts, since I got all of this removed. Makes me want to go ahead and remove that timing cover and confirm that part's good as well while we're in here. And right off the bat, it looks like that timing chain will need to be replaced. I think the gear's alright though. Yeah, the gear's alright. The crankshaft may be questionable. Oof. Still, we haven't found what the running gear issue is though. Which makes me want to drain that oil and check the crankshaft condition. I mean, the timing is good. Did we already check the gearbox? We probably haven't, but since we're already here. We got a crankshaft bearing. Is that? No, that still wasn't it. But at least we got that out. With that, it looks like camshaft is definitely the problem. And we can put that back on there. But might as well still replace that crankshaft bearing as it was on its way out. And with that, the oil filter should also be replaced since we're replacing the oil. That's the good rule of thumb. I don't think I'll be able to remove that without taking off the gearbox. That's at 48. I don't know if that's the one it came with though. That's what gets me. Let me check. Yeah, that would have been the one it came with. If that's not it, the flywheel's not it. The gearbox is in good condition. Front sway bar was good enough. That wheel hub bearing looks like it's seen better days. go ahead and get that replaced here real quick. Yeah, that was tires back on. That tire back on. That's weird. Guess I didn't put that bolt back on entirely. That should do it. We'll go ahead and fill up that oil. And we still have that running gear issue, so I am baffled by what that could be. Running gear issues often the bushings, so we're gonna take a double look at those. I think it could be that leaf spring bushing there in the back. Got 10 of those. Oh. Let's go ahead and do something here. Well, that drive shaft is definitely gonna need to be replaced. looks like we found it. Ended up just being the leaf spring, not needing to replace the entire drive axle. It would seem. Leaf spring, rear drive. Well, why is it coming up as the leaf spring, rear drive axle? When, oh, no, it is the drive axle. I was right. Because I ran that magnifying tool on it earlier. I was thinking since I hadn't moved it yet, it must mean the leaf spring. But since I ran that, it could be referring to, and in this case would be referring to the drive axle. Well, let's get everything removed from it here, and we'll get that removed. So let's go ahead and get this down here. And we can get that oil in there. Like we already got that back in there, so that being the case, that should finish up this job. Got card is hard to control at 807 credits, knocking sound coming from suspension at 47 credits, find and fix any running gear problems at 720 credits, loud when accelerating at 280 credits, transmission not responsive at 1,800 credits, task bonus of 1,351 credits, job bonus of 2,844 credits, total payout of 7,849 credits. So go ahead and finish that once we get that sway bar and link installed. There's a missing alternator. That might help if I built up the front end of the engine again. You know, this might be helpful. Oof. That should be it. Push us up to 14, which will be a good spot to purchase the expansion for the garage. Workbench. I want you to fix mechanical parts. It's definitely needed. And brake lath would be useful. I would also like to repair body parts. Well, we're cutting it close. But with all the parts we had, we should be able to repair some of those parts we have in there and replace any parts we may need here with set parts. So should eliminate the need to have to purchase new parts entirely. I'm not too worried about getting through this mission. Task we have at hand, especially since apparently we don't need any parts. We'll go ahead and remove that coolant. Get rid of that water or washer fluid, that's what they call it. And the brake fluid. And we'll refill those up real quick. And that should finish up this job. So other tasks at 60 credits, task bonus of 7, job bonus of 45, puts us at 112 credits. Finish that up and go ahead and check on the next one. Oh, let's see here. Now let's check on to the Ribson Star Line. That up front. Oh, we had the engine has no power, replace timing and related parts, brake problems, loud when accelerating, and gears slipping. How's that battery look? 7 should be enough at the 46 threshold. Fuel pump is there. I'm going to go over here. real quick. Yes, 40, 49. Which should be fine. So the power issue is still a mystery. I'm sure it's the spark plugs. You're slipping, replace timing. Is it loud? It's loud. No, let's replace this more than likely. We'll get those added. And put back on. I'll take care of that issue. Gears slipping. That's gonna be a clutch issue. Most of the time. Flywheel, that might be a problem. Okay, move it to condition. Start opening cases. 250 XP and 332 credits. We'll take that. $130 bonus parts, 179 XP. Bonus parts, 436 credits. Bonus barn and 631 credits. 7 XP and a level and a bonus barn location. Get those added and start selling the parts we will not be able to repair anyway. I just want to sell all the parts at 10% here. And the other parts that I know I'm not going to be able to repair. Alright. That should help with the purchase of said flywheel. And then apparently we're going to need the clutch too. And that, I guess I must have sold those inadvertently. So the customer just got a whole new clutch assembly. And it worked out for them. Those gears are no doubt no longer slipping. Let's take care of the brake issue. Another caliber. This one needs to be changed. Should take care of the brake issue there. Holy. The belt should be good. Tensor. Fan's good. This is what I'm guessing is the water flow. But for some reason it wouldn't allow me to remove it. You have to remove the timing cover first. In order to do that, sneaky suspension, gonna have to remove the steering pod. So we're gonna want to drain that fluid. Here. drain that. Distracted by. It keeps calling me. Should be finished here once we just get that in there. And that gear's probably going to need to be replaced as well. 49, no, that should be good. 59's also good. 100 on that. Check all the spark plugs. That one's going to need replaced. That one's going to need replaced. And put that one in. And there. Shit, about to finish that job. So the engine has no power, 473 credits, replace timing related parts at 184 credits, brake problems at 1,173 credits, loud when accelerating at 445 credits, gears keep slipping at 500 credits, task bonus at 381 credits, for a job bonus of 1,560 credits, total payout of 4,716 credits. We have completed about 2 to 3 levels. We've added quite a bit of repair machinery to the list of machinery we could use. We've added some speed on the screwing speed as well as the mounting speed. Well, primarily the mounting speed for the parts. So, yeah, we've made quite a bit of progress in the stream today, and with that, I would like to thank you for joining me for today's stream. You can join me again every Friday at 1 p.m. between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. and on Twitch every Monday and Tuesday. Well, actually, I take that back. Twitch is no longer. Yeah, this is the official announcement that Twitch is no longer on the schedule. So anytime I will be on Twitch, it will just kind of be at random. You know, whenever I'm playing a game that I'm capable of streaming, I'll go ahead and put it up there on Twitch. But for the indeterminate future, there will be no scheduled time frame for Twitch. So with that, you can continue joining me every Friday on my YouTube stream between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. And as always, I will continue to post videos every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. So, if you enjoyed watching this content, please feel free to like, and if you would like to see more of this content, please feel free to subscribe. As always, thanks for watching, and have a great